Then let's look ahead to the game that's going to take place down below as the USA against Slovenia. When we watched England-USA, David, what did you make of the Americans?
Well, I thought they'd done a decent job. I mean, I didn't think they deserved to win the game, albeit they had a really good chance by Altidore late on when Robert Green pushed onto the post. I thought they'd done a steady job. I think they'd have been delighted to get a point. And they'll go into this game a lot more confident because getting that draw with England will give them a lot of confidence.
There's no doubt who their main man is, and that's Landon Donovan. It's a player that David, of course, brought to Everton from the Galaxy for a loan spell last season. We can hear from him now because Donovan thinks the draw with England has helped them believe that they can compete with teams of that calibre.
The natural tendency after you play England and you come off of that high, a lot of times there's a letdown, and we have to make sure that doesn't happen. We talked all along about the importance of playing 3 games, and while there was a lot made of the US-England game, we understand that this game is equally important. In some cases more important, because we realize now if we lose this game, we're likely out of the tournament. We're in a very good place right now. The bus ride home was a lot better after the draw against England. I think we are confident that Slovenia are a team that we can beat. And for us, this is like a final. If we draw the game, we're still alive. If we lose the game, it's highly unlikely we advance. And we know if we win the game, we're in a very good position. So this is as big a game as we'll ever play.
What are his strengths, David? What can we really look out for from Landon Donovan?
It's his pace. He's got lightning fast speed. And he's a very good footballer. And when I brought him in, I wasn't quite sure, is his best position behind the striker, was it wide? But he went right into our team on the right-hand side and done a really good job for us. So overall it's his speed, but he's also an intelligent footballer and a really hard-working team player as well.
Ali, as you said, you watched Algeria against Slovenia. I'm trying to desperately think of a question to kind of catch you out now with Slovenia. But overall, give us an overview of the Slovenian side.
Very workmanlike, very organised, work extremely hard all round the pitch. Nothing desperately exciting. Huge motivation for them today, though, Mark. I mean, probably not expected to get out of this group. I would have thought at the start of the tournament you would have fancied England and USA to finish 1 and 2. If they win today, done and dusted, they're into the last 16. And for a country of Slovenia's size, I mean, just looking at their qualification, just to get here, they came out of the 5th pot of seeds in the European draw for the World Cup. We always talk about how it's difficult for Scotland, it's difficult for Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland and Wales. Scotland were in the 2nd pot. I know they drew Holland in a small group. That was tough. Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland in the 3rd pot, and then Wales in the 4th pot. Slovenia came out of the 5th pot of seeds and beat Russia in a playoff as well to get here. So for them to actually get through to the last 16 would be a huge achievement, David.
Yeah, when they played Russia in the playoff, our player Billy Adinov, we were talking about it, and they had won the first leg and Billy had scored in the game, and they went to the second game, and I thoroughly expected Russia to go through. Gus Hiddink, the manager, but they said they were really good defensively. They didn't offer an awful lot going forward, but they found it really hard to break them down. I think on that day they got a couple of goals to qualify, but he said they were very well organised defensively.
And of course, as you say, if they win to this afternoon, then that's all well and good for them, isn't it?
Yeah, and which means hopefully they will come out and maybe show us a little bit more than they did in the opening game against Algeria. I think this is an interesting one for the USA as well, because I don't know, it's difficult to read players' minds, managers' minds. If the USA got a draw here, I think they would possibly fancy themselves beating Algeria in the final game, hope that England would beat Slovenia. That would then take England and the USA through. Slovenia obviously want to get it done today because they don't want to come up against England with qualification on the line. So hopefully we'll just get a bit more of an attacking game.
It's all ifs, buts and maybes, isn't it? I've just seen a lovely shot in the tunnel of Carlos Bocanegra high-fiving all the kids who are going to come out as mascots with the American team.
Just want to say something very quick. I'd be interested to get David's viewpoint on this, on the referee who's from Mali today, Koman Koulibaly. We've obviously seen a very poor refereeing performance in the first game today, Germany and Serbia.
That's to put it kindly.
Right, he was out there like the players when they first go to Wembley. He had the little video camera out and was filming the stands and sort of taking in the sights and the sounds. I was thinking, you're not on holiday here, you are. I just wonder, David, as a manager, he may be a fantastic player. Would you be slightly concerned about that? Him doing that, having a camera out hour before the game? Should he be concentrating on what he's doing?
Possibly, but like everybody's here to enjoy the World Cup. Everybody wants to go back and say they were part of it. I think what he'll be judged on is how he performs here. So, there is a concern, but overall, I think if he referees well, then he's entitled to take a couple of pictures.
That's a fair point.
And before the teams come out, behind Carlos Bocanegra is Tim Howard, another of your players who had a fantastic opening game against England, didn't he, David?
Probably the one that made the game be a draw. I thought Tim played great. He was really brave with the challenge on Heskey, and overall he's done really well.
He commands his area, doesn't he? He has a lot of respect. He's a dominant keeper.
He's a great goalkeeper, but he's a great man as well, and it helped. He's good round the dressing room. He's worked really hard to get where he is in football. He trains hard every day with Chris Woods, the goalkeeping coach. And after his spell at Manchester United, he's in top form for Everton now.
Voice of David Moyes on 5 Live. The team's just making their way out onto the Ellis Park field. The referee, Koman Koulibaly, has taken the match ball, the much maligned Jubilani, off the plinth. The teams are out and they are now lining up alongside him with all the mascots provided by one of the FIFA sponsors. It is time for the national anthems on 5 Live Sports, your World Cup station. It is Slovenia against the USA.
National anthem of Slovenia.
Slovenian national anthem based on the 7th stanza of a poem called The Toast, and now at Ellis Park, the Star Spangled Banner. To my right, draped in an American flag with a red, white and blue Mohican and the stars and stripes cut into the side of his head, belted that national anthem out. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. All the build-up to England-Algeria from 6:15 tonight with Mark Pugac, Graham Taylor and Chris Waddle in Cape Town. Full commentary on the game, and then after that, Alan Green and 6:06. You can put your points to him there. If you don't get through tonight, there is a 6:06 tomorrow night from 6 p.m. presented by, and get ready for this, Neil Warnock and Robbie Savage. Good luck, everybody. Now, full commentary on Slovenia against the USA. Alistair Bruce Ball, David Moyes, and first of all, Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Mark. Interesting to hear the US anthem being sung like that by the large crowd. Of course, when you go to a big sporting event in the States, usually they get a celebrity to come out and sing, and they kind of do their own version of it. They hold a few notes longer than others, and the crowd just sort of stand to attention. But what a fine following that the US have here at Ellis Park, one of the world's most famous rugby stadiums. And the US must be amongst the best supported nations at this World Cup. They have brought a huge number, and all the cities I've been in here in South Africa, there have been US flags and US supporters very much in evidence. Their players have acknowledged that the opening draw against England will count for nothing, of course, if they lose this game. So it's become a very decisive fixture now. Defeat would virtually eliminate the US. A win would put them well placed to progress from this group. As for Slovenia, only the second time they've ever been at a World Cup. Their Prime Minister promised to clean the boots of the entire squad if they qualified, and he did it as well after the last game that clinched as they got through the playoffs. A nation of just 2 million people, and you can just imagine after the opening win the excitement that will be in that country. It's the smallest country at the World Cup in terms of population against the largest country at the World Cup, and you've got 300 million Americans, you've got just 2 million from Slovenia. The American players go into a huddle away to our right hand side, most of them wearing those purple and orange football boots being worn by an awful lot of players here in South Africa at the World Cup. You can see all the orange heels just bouncing out from that huddle. The referee, who Alistair mentioned earlier on, Koman Koulibaly of Mali, it's his World Cup debut. He is though used to the big stage because he refereed the African Cup of Nations final between Egypt and Ghana. This a big match for him now though on the international stage. So we're about to get underway. The USA will start the match. They will play from right to left as we look down. Navy jerseys with a white sash across their chest, and Slovenia in white with a little bit of green trimming across their chest. So the pitch is almost all in shade. It is a sunny day in Johannesburg. Blue skies up ahead, and it is cold, but not as cold as it has been over recent nights, especially. England did well against, USA did well against England, David Moyes, in the opening game. How do you think they're going to fare here for the second time round?
Well, this is more of a test to see how they do. I think the England game, they were always underdogs. They could sort of keep defending when they have to. I think there'll be a little bit what will be made of them being in charge here, and there's an incident right away in the game here.
And players just getting involved in a bit of pushing and shoving, and right on the halfway line there was a crunching tackle by a USA player on one of the Slovenians. Now, a clash of heads really more than anything else, but maybe an elbow raised as well, and the Slovenian striker Ljubijankic went down immediately. His teammates all came storming in, protesting about the challenge. Yeah, there is a little bit where Clint Dempsey leads with his elbow a little on it. It's very difficult for players to jump without their arms above their head. It's one of these things. But right away, all the players of Slovenia surrounded the referee and put which we think possibly an inexperienced referee under a bit of pressure. Well, Ljubijankic, who's the one change in this Slovenian team, came on as a substitute and did well in their first game in from the start today. And Clint Dempsey giving him a very rude awakening and a welcome here to Ellis Park. Just when the referee immediately was over, he'd so much to do separating the players. I don't think he's actually going to take any action against Dempsey himself. I don't even think he saw it, to be honest. I wasn't sure that he actually caught the incident. It was a ball up between the two players. They both went 50-50 for it, and I just think that Dempsey was above him a little bit with his arm, and that's where it looked as if he'd been caught. Looks like I was wondering, was he going to do a drop ball, the referee? There seems to be a bit of communication issues as he's speaking to Francisco Torres, the US defender. Looks like play is going to resume with a free kick to Slovenia on the halfway line. So we're just getting started here in Johannesburg, and still 0-0 on 5 Live in England's group. And don't forget, England against Algeria, all the build-up from 6:15 this evening, right here on 5 Live. Ljubijankic involved again, and again he goes to ground, and the referee says he's diving this time. He's given the free kick to the US. Yeah, it was a good pass up to him. Looked right away as if they're going to get after the game. Slovenia, they're going to press the USA as they're doing just now, which we didn't see from South Africa the other night. So let's hope that we get a right good game here. That's the voice of the Everton manager, David Moyes, watching this game with us here on 5 Live. His goalkeeper, Tim Howard, touches the ball to Oniyewu, who hasn't played a club game since October, did very well against England. His long ball forward here is too far in front of Josie Altidore, and it's through to Samir Handanovic, the very impressive Udinese goalkeeper, who did very well in Slovenia's first game. The second choice Slovenian goalkeeper is also called Handanovic, and the two men are cousins. But it's Samir Handanovic who's by far the more experienced. He's a big man, 6'4" and like many sort of Eastern European goalkeepers, likes to wear the tracksuit bottoms here on the cold day in Johannesburg. Slovenia in possession in the US half as well, and it's played forward by Radiosolevic over to the far side, but Kirim won't be able to keep it in play, and the ball spills out. A throw in right full back position for the USA, taken quickly to Torres, who's the change in midfield, in for Clark. His ball down the right hand side goes out off the Slovenian boot, and the USA will move up closer to the halfway line. 11 consecutive matches without a clean sheet was one of the more interesting statistics I saw in the build-up to this game for the USA. Tim Howard, we know, is a very fine goalkeeper, but you just wonder if they can sort of keep, a clean sheet could give them something out, because I look back in recent games, they often score one goal, and it's the difficulty of getting the second. So if you concede, already a draw is looking a very possible outcome. As Dempsey comes on the attack down the right hand side for the US near the corner flag, cuts it back. A little bit of room here in midfield from Michael Bradley, the son of the coach, and it's well defended at the moment. The US have to turn. There's a ball down the channel on the right hand side. No one gambled on chasing after it, and that's going to be a goal kick to Slovenia. Still 0-0.
Yeah, and I can see Landon Donovan shouting on. There was a chance to deliver a cross in the box from the right hand side where Clint Dempsey was, and he didn't deliver it, and he's annoyed, and it's right, because at the early part of the game, if you can get opportunities into the final third where they were, they needed a good delivery and they didn't do so.
Goal kick to Slovenia, and Andanovic takes it. Earlier on today, Germany 0, Serbia 1. Germany finished the game with 10 men, and they also missed a penalty. Lukas Podolski. Germans missing penalties at World Cups. What is the world coming to? This is Torres in midfield for the US, and then Bradley up towards Landon Donovan. Bit of an injection of pace over the halfway line. Bradley will pick up possession again, and that's a really nice ball down the left-hand side, and a chance to get to the byline, but Robbie Findlay wasn't able to get in the cross. He does, though, win a corner to the US on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he had a poor touch, and he had a chance to slide the ball across the goal where the US had a 2v1 situation there. But the US just a little bit of pace from Landon, and they had a chance of getting through.
Bradley's pass there, really inviting Robbie Findlay to show off his pace, and he very nearly got into that crossing position. We wait now for the corner, which is going to be taken from the left-hand side as the US come forward. They've got 5 players waiting for the box. Landon Donovan whips it in, poor corner towards the front post. Bradley tried to salvage something out of it, but that's just going to be a goal kick.
And I was just about to say to you how good Landon Donovan's deliveries were there, so I'm glad I didn't get in too soon.
I've always had a theory, and even at this level, World Cup level, how, these well-paid players can take such poor corners. I think the best corner takers in the world, at the start of a game when the goalkeepers come out first to warm up, the goalkeeping coaches send in perfect crosses time and time again. They should be the ones who take the corners. It's 0-0 here between Slovenia and the US at World Cup 2010. Slovenia come on the attack down the left-hand side, and that is going to be a free kick. And Kirim was the man who was tripped, so it's a free kick about 10 yards outside the penalty area on the left-hand side, and a chance for the 2 tall central defenders, Schuler and Cesar, to come forward. Cesar is 6'4" tall, and he's very easy to spot there on the edge of the D of the penalty area.
Yeah, it is. And Robert Corrin's a big player for Slovenia, being their captain, and most people back home will know him from West Brom, but he's influential for him.
Yeah, Robert Corrin, who played a big part in getting West Brom back up into the top flight, but they've now let him go. He'll be looking for a new club for next season. No better shop window than to play well here at the World Cup. So the free kick is taken from the left-hand side, floated high into the penalty area and headed by Ljubijankic, but over the crossbar for a goal kick.
And Tim Howard's angry. I think he didn't like the way the wall was set up, and there was also a block-off in the box there, so they got a little bit lucky, the US. We've seen quite a few block-off situations in a lot of the free kicks so far in the World Cup.
Well, it's 0-0 here in Johannesburg between Slovenia and the USA. Let's go to Royal Ascot, the King Edward VII Stakes, and join John Hunt.
Yes, Royal Ascot's version of the Derby reaching its closing stages, Connor. The King Edward VII Stakes, and at first sight, who was second in the Derby, leads them in. Monte Rosso, though, and Green Moon both beginning to power forward. Arctic Cosmos close up, and so too Bullet Train, who was unplaced in the Derby, but just over a furlong left to go here, and Monte Rosso has come storming to the frontier, goes on from Arctic Cosmos, who's 2 lengths behind, flying but probably possibly too late is Buzzword down the outside. At first sight, well beaten off. Monty Rosso goes on to win under Frankie Dettori by 2 or 3 lengths. Impressive. Arctic Cosmos was second, tied for third between Buzzword and At First Sight. So the Derby form from Epsom didn't hold up. Monty Rosso has crossed the line in front under Frankie Dettori, his 3rd winner of the week, as we take you back to the World Cup. Connor, and Slovenia versus the States.
Thanks very much, John. Arctic Cosmos sounds like an MLS team, doesn't it? You can imagine, a team from up beyond Greenland somewhere. The Arctic Cosmos. USA have got defending to do here in Johannesburg just for the moment. And Bradley on the edge of the penalty area gives it back to Bocanegra, the former Fulham player, Carlos Bocanegra. He's the captain for the US. But the clearance has come straight back down his side, and this is Bersa. That's a brilliant cross into the middle. Attacking it was Novakovic, but he couldn't get the touch. He was 7 or 8 yards out. That's been the best chance of the game so far.
Brilliant cross in, and he got in front of Demerit, and he only needed to get good contact, and who knows, it could have gone in. But it was a really good ball in, and the first half chance for Slovenia.
I should mention as well, at half-time, speaking of racing, we'll bring you commentary on the Coronation Stakes from Ascot. But that chance there from Novakovic, the Cologne striker. He was Slovenia's top scorer in qualifying. Beautiful ball from Walter Bersa on the right-hand side. And the Americans were stretched there as another ball comes low into the penalty area. Well, this time it's no pressure for Tim Howard. You must have had your heart in your mouth, David Moyes, when Tim Howard was clattered into by Emil Heskey in that first game. I mean, of all players, you're going to feel it when Heskey rams into you.
Yeah, I was, because you never know when you get a damaged rib or anything that can keep you out for a long time. And Tim was really brave going for it. And after that, I thought he played really well. And he's done great for Everton. He's done really well for the US.
Yeah, we saw towards the end of the Premier League season when Shea Given picked up that injury, and he's going to miss the start of the next campaign. I think that was the latest we heard from
I think that you can see how important a goalkeeper is. It can save you points in a game, and they need to keep their concentration at crucial times when they're not doing an awful lot. So it is really important that you have a good goalkeeper.
Speaking of goalkeepers, we're told the BBC understands that David James will start for England tonight. David Moyes isn't putting any money on that, doesn't trust the rumours that come until we actually see the official team sheet ahead of the game. But all the build-up from 6:15 right here on 5 Live, and if there is any breaking team news, we will of course bring it to you straight away. Slovenia have possession here. Bersa, nice little step over inside his own half, goes around Landon Donovan, who's a very fast player, and Donovan stays with him on his shoulder. He's actually fouled Bersa, and that's a free kick to Slovenia, halfway line, right hand side as they come forward.
Yeah, the midfield player Torres has given the ball away a couple of times, and I know he's come in as a replacement back into the side, and he's had 2 or 3 chances. I think Landon was a bit upset there. He didn't pass the ball better in a good position.
The influence of football, or soccer as they call it, growing in the US. They've got defending to do here at the moment, and it's Oniyewu whose clearance barely got it out of the penalty area. Might have been a handball when it came back towards the former Newcastle man a second time. Referee thought it was ball to hand the other way round. But speaking about how popular the game has become, I was told that the recent NBA finals, of which they play 7 games, but the average viewership for the first 6 of them was smaller than the viewership on TV that watched England against the USA last weekend. So popularity very much growing stateside as Cherundolo controls the ball inside the US half, and it's with Torres in midfield, exchanges a pass with Bradley, who plays in Germany with Borussia Dortmund, and back over to Cherundolo. He's also a German-based player on the right-hand side. Torres, 15 yards inside the American half, exchanges a pass with Clint Dempsey. The US, it's almost like they're just trying to slow it down and hold on to possession. Slovenia happy for them to have the ball inside their own half, and now they'll start to close them down as America come over the halfway line. But the ball from Bocanegra is wayward and goes all the way back to Handanovic.
Yeah, poor pass there. There was never anybody there. And Slovenia just look more like a club side to me. They look as if they're playing, they're getting around the game, trying to play quite fast when they can, press them at the right moments, and nearly looking like a team who aren't expected to do anything, and they're doing really well.
Slovenia, who won their first game, and victory here would take them into the second round. Possession with Breshko, the Cologne fullback. His ball over the halfway line is intercepted by Bradley for the US. This is Josie Altidore, whose lone spell at Hull is now finished. Good charge through the centre, and he nearly released Clint Dempsey, who almost had to do a hop, skip, and a jump over the ball to try and control it, but it carried on through to the goalkeeper.
It was nice and positive. Altidore went past the defender and then slipped it to Dempsey, who just couldn't quite get hold of the ball, or they were in. It was a good opportunity for him.
Clint Dempsey, who has already scored at this World Cup. Most of our listeners will be very well aware of that, as the US have some defending to do now. And this is Robert Corrin in midfield. To his right, Radislovic, and then maybe a shooting opportunity for Bursa from outside the penalty area. A real whipping, curling shot that went beyond the goalkeeper, Tim Howard. That was a rasper in a World Cup that has seen so few long-range goals. Slovenia have produced a masterful one and a brilliant team celebration as they jump down by the corner flag with their hands in the air. But Slovenia are a team to watch in South Africa now. Slovenia 1, USA 0.
It's a lovely finish from about 25 yards. You know, they get space in front of the defence. Nobody comes out and presses them quickly enough to stop them getting the shot away, and he nearly bends it in the far corner past Tim Howard, and the goalkeeper's got no chance.
Yes, Tim Howard barely flinched. It was very well struck. It was close to having a deflection off the defender Onyewu, but on seeing the replay, there was no deflection. That was straight to the top corner. It's a fine goal, and how important it could be. Slovenia could be the first team to progress from England's group.
Yeah, and the way they've started the game, they look organised, they look compact, they look as I said before, that they know what they're doing, and probably playing with a little bit less pressure than maybe one or two of the other sides.
And Walter Bursa, the man who has scored the goal here, he's third in international football. He plays for Auxerre in France. He's a right winger, and he picked up the ball just outside the D of the penalty area, and only one intention in his mind as he struck the ball beyond Tim Howard and has given the early lead. We've not played a quarter of an hour yet. Bursa's goal means it's Slovenia 1, USA 0. Now down the other end, the Americans have a free kick. It's about 8 or 9 yards outside the penalty area, left-hand side, and standing over it, Landon Donovan, his hands on his hips, and the Americans will not be happy at falling behind here at Ellis Park. Donovan steps up, floats in across, hanging there for Dempsey, but the goalkeeper punches it away. Clint Dempsey was waiting for the ball to come to him, and Handanovic punches, what an impressive punch as well, almost to the halfway line.
It was a lovely delivery in by Landon Donovan, and they were inches away from getting it. And the goal was interesting. I actually think he passes it into the net past Tim Howard. He nearly passed it into the far corner. He didn't lash at it. And it was a really good goal. No
problems with the Jabulani for Walter Bursa, the 23-year-old who has scored a second goal at this World Cup for Slovenia, and they'll hope it'll be enough to bring them a second victory. Goal kick to the Europeans, and Handanovic prepares to take it. As I mentioned, plays in Italy with Udinese, has been tipped with a move abroad though after this World Cup. He played very well in the opening game against Algeria, and he's coped with whatever America have thrown at him in the early stages so far here in Johannesburg. Here comes Slovenia with Ljubijankic just outside the penalty area, running with his back to goal, but giving it into midfield to Corrin, who spots that Brechko, the fullback, has come on the overlap down the right-hand side. An early cross straight at Onyewu, who clears it away for the United States, but it's come back again to Brechko on the right-hand side into the penalty area. Bursa isn't able to control it, and the Americans are able to clear, and up towards Robbie Findlay, the Real Salt Lake player, and he's got pace, and he's also got Altidore ahead of him. Altidore to the edge of the penalty area, and well defended. Jokic, the left back, swept across and makes sure that was safely back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, again, a little bit of counter-attack for America, and they've got pace with Altidore and Findlay and Landon, so there's always going to be a threat, but just the final pass wasn't quite there. In the end, it petered them out.
Slovenia 1, USA 0. In 2002, Slovenia were eliminated from the group stages without a single point. Already they've done so much better this time round, and their eyes will be firmly set on the second round. Possession with Torres for the US to Onyewu up to the halfway line, wearing the gloves and the short sleeves, and he gives it to Bocanegra, and a good ball in field, and Bradley's got space here. He can edge forward, and he goes for goal a really long way out. It did dip towards the end, but it was never going to trouble Samir Handanovic.
Bradley's got a great goal scoring record. If you look at the goals he scored when he played in Holland, it was exceptional. He played a little bit more advanced when he was there, where he is just now. He's playing more as a holding midfield player for the US, but it was a long way out where he tried the shot.
They did stand off him, so you could see why he went for it. I mean, it was a long way out, but well,
and he does have the ability to score. He's certainly got a goal scoring midfield player.
Michael Bradley, son of the coach Bob Bradley, who was originally just put in caretaker control of the US team. Apparently they were looking for a, quote, big name, but he did so well in his opening games that he got the job full time. And here comes Landon Donovan attacking for the US, left hand side, a ball to Bocanegra that maybe had to be struck a bit firmer. The fullback stretched out a leg, and that will be a throw into the US down the left hand side.
With Landon playing on the left hand side and Clint Dempsey playing on the right, it's making them both come in the field, and Landon isn't giving them an awful lot of width at the moment. When he's getting it, he's picking up, he's running in the field, and on that occasion there he just didn't get enough to get on the outside.
The throw-in was towards Altidore, and it was a little bit wasted as Slovenia were able to clear away down the field and all the way out for a goal kick for Tim Howard, the US goalkeeper away to our right. I'm just thinking if Slovenia win this game, from an England point of view, given that England weren't able to beat the USA, psychologically will that play on their mind going into the game, England against Slovenia?
Well, I think what it'll do is it'll tell you that Slovenia are no mugs, and we said that before the game. No, they beat Russia over 2 legs, which to qualify was a good result. And looking at them just now, I don't think there's a team full of stars, but they look like a team. And many of the teams out here don't. They've just got individual players. But Slovenia at the moment are playing as if they're a club team.
Yep, they're a well-drilled unit, and they lead here and on their way to a second win and maybe the second round here in South Africa. And when the draw was made and everyone said what an easy group England have got, not necessarily looking that way in reality here in South Africa. Long clearance by Andanovic over the halfway line. Oniewu with a commanding header that will bounce over the halfway line and out for a throw-in, and Slovenia have it on their right hand side with Brečko, gotta get my Slovenian pronunciation correct. This is Torres on the halfway line, bundled off the ball. The referee was very close to it, and that's a free kick to the US. I was reading that the US squad have been offered the biggest win bonus in World Cup history. Should they lift the trophy, they would get over £600,000 each, which is some incentive, but still, I think whoever's put that money forward, the money might well be safe in the bank. It would be an enormous achievement.
The US, after their performance in the Confederation Cup last year, you'd think they've got a little bit more and to show them what they're showing just at this present time. They've done really well out here last year, so I think they could still have a lot to do in this game, especially. They need to get back in it just now to give them any chance of really qualifying. Yeah,
the US enjoy playing in this nation. They beat Spain, of course. At one stage they were 2 goals up on Brazil in the final before things changed. This is Landon Donovan, spins away from the goalkeeper Bursa to the edge of the penalty area and really crowded out of it at the end. Looked like he might have been able to just wrestle his way through and into a shooting position, but the shot did not present itself and Slovenia clear it away.
Yeah, nice and sharp on his feet, Landon, really quick, hardly touches the ground when he runs at times. He's so quick. He reminds me an awful lot of Andy Johnston. He's so fast over the ground, but he just drew an awful lot of defenders towards him who were able to take it off him.
Today, Landon Donovan's 125th cap for the United States. He's such an experienced player at this level, and he's got a lot of goals as well. 42 international goals in that time. Possession with Djokic, the left back for Slovenia, and now they swing it via midfield to the near side, and Brečko. And then Bradley will intercept for the United States. That was a chance of a counter-attack, but the referee has blown the whistle and said that Bursa had been fouled off the ball, so that's going to be a free kick to Slovenia and a chance for them to push forward once again and crucially push the US back, keep them pinned back.
Yeah, they're going to get the ball back in their box, the US box again here, and as I said, they're looking a good side. They look well, as if they're going to work hard from the front. The teams together. Now we've got a ball into the box again.
Bursa, and it looks like he goes for goal. Almost the linesman's flag is raised. It wouldn't have counted in any event. He whipped it in almost like a shot, presumably hoping that someone would get a nick on it and get it away from Tim Howard.
What an effort that was on goal. And I thought Tim was going to let it go because a player made a run across the front of him, and it's a sort of movement which makes the goalkeepers go with the movement. But Tim done great, kept his eye on the ball and saw it out because it was certainly getting into the back post.
Slovenia have started very well here at Ellis Park. Landon Donovan on the ball for the US, who trail by 1-0 on 5 Live. Donovan's ball looking for Dempsey at the far post. Rose very well. Finley couldn't get a firm connection on it, and Slovenia are able to clear it away. But that was much more promising. We're midway through the first half here at Ellis Park. Slovenia 1, USA 0, and Alistair Bruce Ball will talk you through to half-time.
Thank you, Connor. Well, as things stand at the moment in Group C, Slovenia are making their way into the last 16. England would have to win both of their last 2 games to finish top of this group if that's what they want to do. Brechko just knocks the ball outside Landon Donovan, tries to pick it up the other side as he burst down the right-hand side, pushed it too far, and the ball went behind for a goal kick. Tim Howard, all in orange, has been beaten by a very, very good strike from the right winger Birsa, which has Slovenia leading the USA by 1-0 here at a chilly Ellis Park. Altidore just trying to slide a little pass into the feet of Robbie Findlay. It was intercepted. So Slovenia have possession in midfield with Radosavljevic. And they've worked the ball away to the left-hand side to Bojan Jokic. And he comes back to Boštjan Cesar. To Jokic again. Pitch now completely in shade. I know people listening at home won't have too much sympathy, particularly if they've seen the pictures of all the sunshine and the blue skies over here in Johannesburg. But what a difference there is in temperature in terms of sitting in the sunshine, David, as we were at lunchtime, where it was almost shirt sleeves and warm. Suddenly into the shade, the wind, and it's biting.
We're back with the balaclavas and the thermal gloves back on in here. It's freezing cold. But you're right, the weather's been really nice here, except for watching the games. It's been freezing.
Ellis Park is certainly a characterful ground. I'd say it just has a bit more feels a bit more lived in than Soccer City, say, which is going to host the World Cup final on July the 11th. A huge, almost 95,000 capacity stadium. This more a rugby stadium, but real history to it as well, of course. South Africa winning the Rugby World Cup here back in 1995. Donovan slides a good pass here into the feet of Findlay. On the turn finds Dempsey. He's got those bright orange stripes on the back of his boots. Tries to find Findlay again. Torres comes hammering into a challenge, kicks the ball through strongly, and it comes all the way through to Handanovic. So 25 minutes played in the first half. Slovenia leading the USA by 1-0, and so far Slovenia are having a very, very impressive World Cup.
Yeah, they're doing very well. The US look as if with the speed and the pace they've got up front, that there is a moment in them where they'll slide somebody through. There were a couple of opportunities, they've just not pulled it, made the pass count. But they've got the ability to do so.
Here's the goal scorer Birsa. Again, he's another player with the orange flashes on the back of his boots. Gets it to Ljubijankic, who tries to cross in. Cross takes a deflection off Demerit. Tim Howard claims he kept that in, and he's actually putting the ball down on the byline to say to the linesman, it didn't cross the line, I got it. Slaps his thighs in frustration, and Slovenia get the corner, leading by 1-0. In this group, of course, England, and I'm sure everyone's getting very nervous about it back home already, play Algeria in Cape Town tonight. Kick-off at 7:30. Our coverage to our full commentary starts from 6:15. Corner into the near post is nodded away by Bradley. Altidore comes hurtling out of the penalty area for the USA, just to put a bit of pressure on the ball. The USA in these sort of razzle-dazzle, I'd say rather typically American kits of theirs. It's all dark blue, but it's kind of got this sort of Miss World white sash which goes diagonally across the shirt, which just gives it a little bit of sparkle. And as Connor was saying right at the top of the show, the numbers of USA fans certainly outnumbering those from Slovenia in terms of population. USA 300 million, Slovenia 2 million, so no surprise there, but plenty more stars and stripes flags prevalent inside the stadium. Corran's cross from the left-hand side will drift all the way across the USA penalty area, and the ball will drift behind for a goal kick. And here's David Moyes.
Positive run by Corran, tried to get to the byline, he just didn't quite pull it back enough to get the forwards onto it. But they're doing a good job. US are going to have to try and lift the game, lift the tempo a wee bit to try and if they're going to get back into it.
It's the other side of the coin to look at, of course. The USA players making the point clear, knowing that the well-earned point, possibly luckily earned point with the Clint Dempsey goal against England, will mean absolutely nothing if they lose this game. It would be very difficult for them to qualify after that. But Slovenia come forward again. Novakovic is caught offside. He's actually blaming Kierm for delaying the pass, and the USA will get the free kick. So they need to show a little bit more. Slovenia, at the moment, we're a long way away from it, but on the verge of a hugely momentous achievement for them, having come through a qualifying group, finishing behind Slovakia going into that playoff against Gus Hiddink's Russia, who were very, very highly fancied. They actually won the game 2-1 in Moscow, but a really important away goal scored by Slovenia 2 minutes from time actually got them through in the end, because they won the home leg by a 1-0. Here's one of David's former players, shall we say, finished his loan spell at Everton. Landon Donovan has released the pass. Ball across field from Chirundalo is intercepted. Now Michael Bradley, the coach's son with the shaven head, edge of the box, back to Donovan, just rolls it casually under his studs, crosses in, Dempsey's up high, might have been a little shove in the penalty area there. The referee says yes, there was from Dempsey, and so Slovenia will get themselves the free kick. I did hear, David, that Landon Donovan over here, all the US players share rooms, but because they're a squad of 23, Landon gets his own big suite. But I wonder if that's to do with the fact that he's the most capped player, and actually, as you said before the game, he's the MLS's biggest turn, isn't he?
Either that or he's got no pals. Don't know. But that's 2 crosses Landon's put in there, and Dempsey at the back post earlier on, he headed one back across, same again. And Bradley in midfield starting to get forward, because I think they're beginning to realise we're going to have to try and do something to get back in this game, knowing we can't just sit and play slowly. And the US just beginning to get 1 or 2 crosses in the box now.
17 minutes to half-time here at Ellis Park. Slovenia leading the USA by 1-0. We'll keep reminding you this result, as it stands, means Slovenia would be into the last 16. England would then be battling it out with Algeria and the USA for the other qualification spot. Bielsa curls the free kick in, comes off Bradley's back. I think Tim Howard goes hurtling away to the left to try and keep the ball in. He does. He's knocked it out for a throw, but he has prevented the ball going out for a corner.
Bursa, who's the left-footed player playing on the right for Slovenia, is looking a really good player. He's scored the goal, he's taken all the set pieces at the moment, and he's doing a good job coming off the right-hand side.
Everton boss David Moyes with us on BBC Radio 5 Live, as he has been throughout the World Cup so far. I think I looked at my calendar today, David, amazingly, am I right in saying pre-season training is in about 10 days' time, isn't it? Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, I hope none of the players are listening. But yes, that's a fact.
And Michael Bradley with a long ball out of his half, although, am I right in saying as well, David, in terms of the players playing here for you at the World Cup, and you've got a few, they will, I mean, they wouldn't go back in July the 1st, would they?
No, all our players will get a month's holiday after when they go out the World Cup. You know, hopefully they all go on as far as they can, but we need to give them their rest as well. They've had a long, hard season, and now they've got a World Cup as well.
Long ball from Slovenia, drifts straight out of play, goes behind for a USA goal kick. The particular thing you notice about the US fans, I spotted as they came into the ground, they do like the face paint, and it's quite complicated face paint, because to get stars and stripes all over the face is a little bit intricate, and they also love the star-shaped sort of comedy sunglasses to represent the stars on the banner as well. So I've seen a lot of that about Ellis Park. Won't be too happy with the way the team are playing. Long clearance from Tim Howard is flicked on, and it goes all the way through to Samir Handanovic. David?
I don't know if there'll be many of them having the picnic round this area, around Ellis Park outside, though. From what we've noticed at the moment, I don't know if you could lift your boot up and have your sandwiches and your Coke outside.
Chilly, very chilly. Long ball through here. Novakovic is going to chase. Shoulder to shoulder with Onyewu. Both players go down. Referee's taking his time over the decision. And in fact, the flag was up on the far side from the linesman. So I think the challenge on Onyewu wasn't fair. But Tim Howard's going to take it as a goal kick rather than a free kick. Germany 0, Serbia 1. A very interesting scoreline from earlier on today. Jovanovic, who'll be playing his football for Liverpool next season, the goal scorer. Germany reduced to 10 men in the first half. Miroslav Klose getting sent off for 2 yellow cards. The second one I saw, which was a tackle from behind, and he didn't get the ball, but I hear the referee was extremely pedantic and pernickety and was getting the cards out incredibly as well. Lukas Podolski, a German, missing a penalty during a World Cup final. May not miss them when it really, really counts, but they've missed one today, and it just makes that group a little bit more interesting. Ghana play Australia in that group tomorrow. That kicks off at 3 o'clock. Just gives Australia a little bit more of a sniff in the group. Here's Michael Bradley for the USA. Slovenia 1, USA 0 on BBC Radio 5 Live. England, Algeria. Full commentary from 7:30 this evening with Alan Green, Mike Ingham and the team. And Alan will be taking your calls as well. 0500 909 693 85058. I'm sure you know all the numbers, but I'm sure plenty of you will want to have your say this evening on England and how they play, and it is a big, big game. This one at the moment, David, it's just drifting a bit, isn't it?
Drifted away just now. Neither team, I think they're both having a breather. Slovenia feel as if they've got a goal in front, and the US just not offering enough to put them looking as if they're going to get a goal at all.
Slovenia in the white kit with the green trim, looking probably a little bit like a sort of a piece of spearmint gum. They've got this zigzag line which goes across the front of their shirts halfway, which is like that sort of pulse line you get on the machines in the hospital, a little bit where the heart comes up. That's what the kit looks like. They've got the ball again here, left-hand side with Kierm. Dempsey works hard for his team to get back, just put a bit of pressure on him. Ball's chipped into the penalty area. Offside flag is up, so it won't count. Slovenia getting caught offside 2 or 3 occasions in this first half. The USA will get the free kick. And just notice Tim Howard there, actually, David, saying the ball boys, hurry up. I want this ball as quickly as possible. Let's get moving. Yeah, well,
Tim realises that his team's losing and they need to try and use every moment in the game they can and set a better pace and tempo. And they've got the players to do it. They're a hard-working side, US. They just don't seem to have been really get a full grip of the game at the moment.
13 minutes to half-time. USA trailing Slovenia by 1-0. Michael Bradley. Ball just skips off his right boot. Here comes Robert Koren, who just slips a little pass out to the left-hand side, and Slovenia will just slow the attack down for a second. Koren stays wide left, a little small plane buzzing above us, way above Ellis Park, not like the big jumbo that came roaring over here as a big surprise ahead of the 1995 Rugby World Cup final. And Slovenia slowly and very surely continue to keep possession inside their own half and say to the USA, well, come on, we're a goal ahead, you're going to have to come and get this ball. Finley comes racing in to put a bit of pressure on it. Long ball through, missed by Onyewu, not picked up by Luba Jankic. And now here's Francisco Torres, who was brought into this US side for this game in place of Ricardo Clark. Gets it back to the right back Cherundolo. Finley, I think, was almost tempted to control that with his hand. He couldn't bring it down. And the ball goes out for a Slovenia throw. I was interested what you were saying, David, about Slovenia looking like a club side. I think the manager, Maciej Kek, for the last 7, 8, 9 games, whenever he can, picks exactly the same team lineup. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. I mean, that sort of continuity suggests exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, and it looks it as well. I didn't know that statistic, but they look quite comfortable with each other, know their jobs. I mean, if they were playing England, I would expect England to beat them, I think. But I just think that they're well organised. You know, if you can break them down and get a bit of width, and at the moment, US can't. They're not getting any width at all. They're trying to get through the middle. So they're going to have to use it a bit, get the ball a bit wider, a bit sooner. It's Walter Beerse's goal, which separates the two teams. Scored in the 13th minute. Altidore with real power, bustling his way to the corner of the box. He's brought down. Could possibly be our first card of the afternoon. Boštjan Cesar is pleading his innocence. He gets the yellow card, and more importantly from the USA's point of view, they get a free kick in a very, very dangerous position because it's almost right on the corner of the edge of the penalty area, and Landon Donovan is one player over there with Francisco Torres, who might fancy curling one in from here. Yellow card deserved, David? Well, I didn't think so. Altidore done great though, picked the ball up, went past, used all his power and pace, but I think Altidore actually runs into the defender in the end. So let's see what the USA can do with this. Vuvuzelas are blaring, as ever. I think Torres is going to be left to take it because he's the left footer, and the free kick's coming in from the right-hand side, so this will be an in-swinger. Big chance here, good position to deliver a good ball in. USA trailing by 1-0 to Slovenia in Group C. England, Algeria to come, 7:30 tonight. Full commentary, Radio 5 Live. Our coverage starts at 6:15. What can Torres do with this? Players start their ends. Torres whips it into the near post. Handanovic throws himself to his left-hand side, palms it away for a corner. Torres very, very nearly scored. It looked as if it was in. The goalkeeper pulls it out and keeps it out. Good bit of goalkeeping from Handanovic. Gianluigi Buffon, who's not a bad keeper himself, rates him very highly, plays in Serie A with him. Handanovic for Udinese. I think Bayern Munich and Manchester United as well apparently have had a look at him. Corner comes in from the left, doesn't beat Novakovic at the near post, headed away to the edge of the box. Now a header just wide of the post. Jay Demerit there from the edge of the penalty area, just had Handanovic scared for a second or so, but the goalkeeper was relieved to watch it drop wide, and one of the Slovenians actually in the aerial challenge in the penalty area has gone down injured, and the Slovenian players don't seem best pleased with what happened in there, because again they are very quickly surrounding our referee. But I've got to say, I didn't see anything in there. It was a great header, but it was also a big American hit, like the American football. He came in and he really hit him, but he won a header fair and square, about 16 yards, and it just sailed wide of the post. We did have a a real incident right at the start of this game, actually in the first 20 seconds or so, where Clint Dempsey went up for a header and actually led with his arm. I'm not sure there was real malice in it, but he definitely caught Luba Jankic, and the Slovenians didn't like that. But their defender is up on his feet. The stretcher's not needed. 8 minutes to half-time. Slovenia leading USA by 1-0. Germany losing to Serbia today. Tomorrow's action, the 3 World Cup games on 5 Live. Holland against Japan from Durban at 12:30. Ghana against Australia in Rustenburg at 3 o'clock. And Cameroon-Denmark in Pretoria. That one kicks off at 7:30. I should say as well, big race coming up at half-time very shortly during this game from Royal Ascot, the Coronation Stakes, 3:50 your time. So we'll have full commentary on that for you as well this afternoon. Slovenia 1, USA 0. Dempsey's fallen to the floor. USA have lost the ball, but have they won the throw-in? Referee can't make his mind up. Eventually he can. And actually it goes to the USA. So they've got some work to do, Bob Bradley and his troops. Trailing by 1-0. Haven't really tested Handanovic apart from a few moments ago. The free kick killed him from Torres.
Well, it's 1, they're always in the game. If it gets to 2, then they're a problem. And at the moment, they're still in the game. There's nothing wrong.
Well, little break for them here. Donovan's nicked the ball. He's got it to Findlay. He's inside the penalty area. Pass in. He's intercepted, blocked, and goes behind for a corner. Look at Dempsey and Donovan standing at the back post saying, if that had come to us, that would have been a goal.
I think that's twice Findlay's sort of had opportunities down the left-hand side and hasn't really picked MD out again. That's a poor pass in the end.
Hasn't had too many caps for the USA, Robbie Findlay. 24 years old. This one, his 8th cap, yet to score for the side. Couple of opportunities for him in this first half in terms of providing a goal, and he hasn't been able to do it. Slovenia leading 1-0. Donovan's corner's a better one into the penalty. Bradley smashes the shot, deflected. Oh, and it's hacked away off the line, but I don't think it would have counted. The referee has given a yellow card to Robbie Findlay for something that's gone on inside the penalty area, so Bradley's shot would not have counted. But the American players at the moment are just asking what actually that was given for. Robbie Findlay's booking also means he misses the next game, so that's a blow for the USA.
Really good delivery in and out. The ball spun to Bradley, and I thought this is going to be a goal. So I think the ball's hit the boy in the face. Yeah. And he said it's handball. I can't believe it. It hits him full on in the side of the face.
Yeah.
Bradley goes to strike the ball, and it didn't go over the line. But it certainly wasn't a booking. That is scandalous. That
I mean, it possibly caught him on the shoulder as well. He was trying to avoid it, though, David. He didn't lift his hand towards it. He was trying to move away from it. That is a really poor decision from our referee.
That's a terrible decision, and if it rules the ball out, here's Altidore.
Yeah, coming forward for the USA. Here's a chance. Now then, can Findlay score? Slides the little pass in. Dempsey across goal. Whacked away by Brechko. Donovan was sliding in. Couldn't get the touch. Great chance for the USA, but they still trail by 1-0. They have a corner.
They tried to walk it in, and they nearly got there in the end. It had been Landon Donovan with a tap in. Clint Dempsey played it across the face of the goal. The defender got back and just toes it away. USA finally waking up 5 minutes before half-time, trailing Slovenia by 1-0. Donovan with another corner. This one not so good, low and scuffed into the near post. And Novakovic whacks it away, and the Slovenian coach comes racing out to the edge of his technical area, pointing to his forehead, telling his players to concentrate. Findlay pulls the ball back. There's no one there for the USA. Altidore's very deep. He's outside the penalty area. Gets it back. Long range strike from the right back. Chirundolo was always slicing wide, and it does go behind for a Slovenia goal kick. But my word, USA have come close in the last couple of minutes or so. Findlay did make a good pass this time, and it was laid right into Landon Donovan's pass to finish it off. And a boy just toe pokes it away at the last minute. He's about to tap it in. It actually reminded me of the position Landon was in when he didn't take the chance against Tottenham earlier in the season for us. But same position, same sort of pass across the goal, but the defender just got there.
I was doing that. Did that finish 2-2?
2-1.
2-1, yeah. 2-2 at Goodison, wasn't it? You lost 2-1 at White Hart Lane, and that was a wonderful chance. Now then, Novakovic sliding a pass in. Luba Jankic onside. Second goal for Slovenia. USA appeal for offside. They're not going to get it. And Slovenia could be on their way into the last 16. It could mean just one qualification spot available for England in this group. USA caught on the break. Luba Jankic scores. Slovenia 2, the USA 0.
Too easy to get through the middle of the defence. It was wide open, and it's given them it's making it a real tough task. USA had a chance to make it 1 each just before it. And he's onside as well. I thought it was very tight, but the boy tucks it away, and It's going to be a hard task now for the US to get back in this game.
Slovenia leading by 2 goals to nil. Zlatan Ljubijankic has got that second goal. England fans will know him. He scored at Wembley in September in the 2-1 defeat against Slovenia. But Slovenia here, after a terrific first half, and they've just withstood a little bit of pressure in the last few minutes or so, are on the verge, as we've been saying throughout the first half, of a really, really remarkable achievement of qualifying for the last 16 of the World Cup in only their second World Cup. They are the 5th smallest nation ever to be at a World Cup finals in terms of population. And my word, they are giving it a very, very good go, and the USA have a lot of work to do now. Lovely finish, wasn't it, David, from Ljubijankic? Really
good finish, and instead they get caught on the counter. Finlay just made 1 or 2 half opportunities, tried to pull one back again, didn't make it work, and before you know it, they came up the park, Slovenia, and they're 2-0 up now.
Well, you wonder what the England players will be making of this. England-Algeria, 7:30 tonight from Cape Town. Full commentary here on 5 Live. Our coverage will start from 6:15 tomorrow morning. Nicky Campbell, Danny Baker, both their programmes will come from Cape Town with all the reaction, all the post-match chat from tonight's big game. But make sure you tuned in to us tonight. And England at the moment, we have to wait and see what happens in the second half, but probably thinking they've got to win both games if they do want to win this group. Slovenia here leading by 2 goals to nil, and 2 really well-taken goals as well, because it does take something good to beat Tim Howard away to our right-hand side. And the first one curled past him in the 13th minute from Birsa, and then Ljubijankic then just sliding the finish underneath his body to give Slovenia a commanding lead at Ellis Park.
Yeah, I thought maybe Tim could have held himself a bit longer.
Torres has given the ball away. USA are under pressure again. Here comes Kim trying to make his way into the penalty area, but Demerit's there and he hooks it away with his right foot, and it just changes so quickly in football, because all of a sudden there we were thinking it was going to be 1-1. David Donovan looked like he was going to score.
Yeah, it did. It looked as if it was going to be 1-1, and just after that as well they still had another half opportunity, but and that's when they broke away. But that's football for you, and now Slovenia in complete control. Bob Bradley's going to go in at half-time 2-0 down, and he's going to have to find something to try and give them something in the second half which will perk up the game a little bit for them. But if they go gung-ho forward too much, then they'll be open to the counter-attack.
That's the Everton manager David Moyes. Slovenia in their all-white kit with green trim, leading by 2 goals to nil here at Ellis Park, not the USA's favourite ground. They were 2-0 up here this time last year in the Confederations Cup final against Brazil. Brazil turned that round with a couple of goals from Luis Fabiano, and Lucio got the winner to win the game 3-2. High ball into the US box and swirling in the air. Tim Howard almost got himself a little bit out of position, but managed to reach and claim it with both hands. Gives it a big volley down the field. Boštjan Cesar, that is no nonsense central defending, just gave the ball an absolutely almighty whack on the volley with his left foot. Little shove on Chirundalo there means USA get a free kick at the back. I tell you who might be worried at the moment is the Slovenian tourist board, because ahead of this World Cup they were offering people who travelled to Slovenia 25% off their holidays if Slovenia reached the quarter-finals, 50% off their holidays if they reach the semi-finals. If Slovenia win the World Cup, you'll get your holiday for free. So they may be a little bit more concerned than they possibly were before the tournament, but their country's doing them proud, the players are doing them proud. We're in added time at the end of the first half on 5 Live. Slovenia lead the USA by 2 goals to nil. Early goal from Birsa. USA with a couple of really good chances. Torres' free kick palmed away by Handanovic, and Brechko whacking one off the line when Landon Donovan was right behind him and ready to tap it into an empty net. And then Ljubijankic up the other end, just sliding one under the body of Tim Howard. The USA offside trap did not work, and the USA are staring an early exit from this World Cup. Slap bang in the face. Long ball downfield. Is headed away by Chirundalo. Michael Bradley on the turn in the centre circle towards Dempsey. Good ball through, didn't quite reach Findlay. Here's Donovan right in the middle of the Slovenia half, trying to find Bradley. Ball just too far for Bradley to catch. Birsa on the turn forward to Novakovic, who is Slovenia's star striker. He is their top scorer, but is yet to score in this tournament. But they won't mind that. They're leading this game by 2 goals to nil, having already beaten Algeria by 1 goal to nil. And I can spot a few of our Slovenian friends over on the other side of the stadium. We've actually managed to get just out of the stands and onto the little track between the hoardings and the pitch, and they are having a high old time over there. Header away from Schula. Ball drops down inside the Slovenian half, and another chance for a break here. Could they get a third? Novakovic wants to play forward. He hasn't got time. The half-time whistle blows, I think. Yes, I am right. The half-time whistle blows. Slovenia's players are claiming something wasn't right there, but I tell you what, David Moyes, they'll be extremely happy with the way they've played in this first half. Their goals led a little bit of a charm life. They lead the USA by 2 goals. They're heading through to the last 16 at the moment.
Great, and I'm seeing the Slovenia manager here go out onto the referee, challenging him because they had a great counter-attack, 4v4, broke away, and he's not played a second over the 45 minutes, so arguably the manager's correct. The referee should have allowed it to go on, and he's very angry.
Slovenia are 45 minutes away from a remarkable achievement for their country and their football team. I think all England fans listening to this at home and watching on the television and waiting for the Algeria game tonight will be very, very interested, depending on what happens to England tonight. England, Slovenia, of course, the final group game could be a big one. The USA at the moment, Mark Chapman, are heading out. Half-time score, Slovenia 2, USA 0.
This has been a rude awakening here at Ellis Park for the United States, who held England 1-1 in their opening game, but now are in big danger of slipping out of contention in the group, because if they lose here, they would be on the verge of elimination. It would be a real effort to turn things around and to make it into the second round. We're back underway here, and just scanning my eye across the teams, I don't think there's been any changes in personnel over the break. Birsa and Ljubijankic are the goal scorers that have got Slovenia in front. And the USA have possession, and they actually have made some change. We'll just confirm the players who've come on in just a moment, as Bob Bradley's team tried to get back into contention, but at 2-0 down, it's very, very difficult. David Moyes.
Yeah, Adu's come on in midfield alongside Bradley, and they've brought Landon Donovan across the right, and Dempsey's gone through centre forward. So they've made another change as well. The other change is, I'm just looking here at the other change, is Phil Haber
for Torres.
Has come on the left-hand side a little bit. So they're going to try and see if they can land it on the right now instead of the left, and Dempsey through the middle.
Ljubijankic plays a low ball into the penalty area for Slovenia. He was looking for Novakovic, but it was intercepted, and the USA are able to clear the ball away in a long ball, and Altidore will chase after it, and Dempsey is right up there in attack as well, and the ball is cleared out for a throw into the US on the right-hand side.
Yeah, the long ball forward now, Landon's got it, though.
And Donovan gives a low cross into the penalty area. Michael Bradley was arriving, and it was just about cleared away by Cesar, the Grenoble defender. Back in towards Altidore. Can't control it near the penalty spot. Birsa clears the ball away out for another US throw. Well, that's a bit more promising from the United States.
Well, they're getting it in the box. Dempsey just flicked the ball on there, nearly fell to Altidore, and it was a chance. And Landon on the right-hand side, much more positive than he had been on the left right away at the start of the game.
So Edu, the Rangers player, Maurice Edu, has come on in midfield in place of Torres. And Benny Feilhaber plays his club football in Denmark with Aarhus, is the man who's replaced Robbie Finlay up front. If you missed our coverage in the first half, Finlay was presented with a few attempts here running into the penalty area, and his choice of pass really let him down. He wasn't able to connect with his teammates. And they did have chances, the USA, in the first half, most notably just before the second Slovenian goal. Well, the man on the ball at the moment, Landon Donovan, nearly scored. He's in the penalty area now. Right-hand side. Oh, rasping finish. Everyone expected him to cross. It was similar to Maicon from Brazil. Closer to the goal as Landon Donovan edged his way nearer to Handovich, the goalkeeper. He looked up for a cross. Nothing was on. And from a seriously acute angle, Landon Donovan drilled home his 43rd international goal. It has given a crucial lifeline to the US. It's Slovenia 2, USA 1.
He doesn't half bury it. Right along the byline, he's looking to pick a pass out through into the 6-yard box, but he doesn't. He smashes it high into the roof of the net. It nearly took the goalkeeper's head off on the way in.
As a manager, David, you would love that. You come out for the second half, you've made 2 changes, and you score within 3 minutes of the restart.
So right away, Landon playing in the left, coming on. Oh, short pass back.
And the goalkeeper Howard will come out, and as David Boy said, a really loose pass back, which was in no danger of getting into the penalty area. Howard had to sprint out, and he just about cleared the ball away. This game is very definitely livening up.
Well, just before you brought me on, I was going to say how important the next goal was going to be. If Slovenia had got it, I would say it was game over. If the US get it, it's game on, and that's what we've got now.
Landon Donovan, who played in the Premier League this season with David Moyes at Everton, has scored the goal that has got the fans away to our right-hand side, belting out USA, USA. The chap Mark mentioned earlier on with the Mohican, he's in much better spirits. He's holding a flag up in front of his face. He can't even see the game, but he's making sure everyone can see his flag, and they know they are back in it now. There's a break in play, treatment to one of the Slovenian players over on the far-hand side, but Landon Donovan's goal has given the United States a chance of remaining in this World Cup.
And it's one of these ones, if you go along the byline and you don't cut it back to somebody and you go for goal, the players normally, ball you out. So thank goodness it went in, or everybody was saying what a mistake not to pass it. So it was a great finish. Now,
just while we've got this break in play, actually they've now taken him off the field. We're going to have the free kick to the US. I just want to ask a question to you, David, about Finlay in a moment, but we'll wait till after this free kick. Landon Donovan is standing over it. There's a whole host of US players hustling for position along the edge of the penalty area. Landon Donovan waits for the referee's instruction, and the official from Mali is stopping everything, and he wants to have a word with, I think, Bocanegra, and he says there's too much pushing, and still we wait for the free kick to be taken. Landon Donovan standing over the ball. Oniyewu's got a bit of space at the back post. It's in towards the near post, flicked on by Dempsey, and Oniyewu nearly was there to finish it. Flashed in front of him and out for a goal kick. It was close.
What a ball in, and the slightest of touch was all it was needed to put it in, and I think they should have got on the end of it. I think it's Big Ooch coming round the back, just as the last chance to touch it in, and doesn't throw himself at it, and it just goes past the post. But certainly a much improved USA team already.
Slovenia 2, USA 1. Early stages in the second half here on 5 Live. But I was going to ask you about Finlay, who went off at half-time. Picked up the yellow card in the first half, which should mean that he will now miss the next game. We've seen from the replay that, clearly he didn't handle the ball, it hit him in the face. I wonder, will he be able to appeal it? I know that Tim Cahill was in a similar situation, because it clearly doesn't touch his hand. Can he appeal it, or can you only appeal mistaken identity at the World Cup?
I don't know at the World Cup how it works, but I don't think you can overturn any yellow card. I think once you're booked, the referee's decision's final, and that's the way it is. But it certainly wasn't a booking.
Yeah, so Finlay may miss the last match against Algeria. Here's a free kick to Slovenia, whipped in by Birsa, who scored the opening goal here. Tim Howard came out, and that's been parried away for a corner to Slovenia on the right-hand side. They had all the running of this game in the first half, going 2-0 in front. Birsa and Ljubijankic scored the goal. The man who plays in Belgium with Ghent, one-on-one really with the goalkeeper Tim Howard, and he slotted it under Howard into the back of the net. But Landon Donovan's goal has given the US an awful lot of hope here. It's the corner to Slovenia. On the right-hand side as they come forward, Birsa prepares to take it. The US have brought everybody, all 11 players, back into their penalty area to defend this. Birsa's really taking his time over it, rolls it short to Kirim, and then out towards the edge of the area, looking for Corrin. Corrin chips it in way too high, and that will be a goal kick for Tim Howard away to our left. Slovenia 2, USA 1. This could be a good second half. Now, at half-time, David, we said the next goal would be really, really important. Because it's gone to the USA, it's given us a much closer second half.
The US now must keep the tempo of the game up if they want to get back into the game. They started the game great. They got after them. They got the ball forward. They got it in the box a couple of times. And it led, a defender made a mistake, and it allowed Landon through into the touchline, and they got their goal. So they need to keep it up, keep the pressure up, to try and get an equaliser.
Landon Donovan living up to his billing as one of the star players, if not the star player of the US squad, and he has scored the goal here. The USA were the overall top scorers in qualifying for this World Cup. They scored more than any other nation, 42 goals in total. They still need one more here at Ellis Park, Johannesburg, if they are to salvage a point. Throw in for Slovenia. Jokic takes it from left back. Immediately, Michael Bradley clears it over the halfway line. Bounces just in front of the defender. Cesar comes straight back to him a second time, and Altidore is strong in the challenge until Jokic is there to clear it back into midfield. And Morris Edu tries to control. He's been beaten to the ball by Radu Solevic, and now a bit of space as Slovenia come forward. Good ball into Novakovic, tries to give it back out to the far side. Birsa will run towards the corner flag. He's managed to get the ball, but the USA are back now, and the counter-attack element of this has somewhat subsided. Brechko to Birsa. and he swings in a left-footed cross-come shot that's off target and not near a teammate, and that goes out for a goal kick to the USA. David Moyes.
It was nearly the same as the second goal, which Slovenia scored. They gave it away in the middle of the park, caught in possession. This time it was Edu who got caught in possession, and but for a bad pass Slovenia played, I think they could have been looking at a goal there. But US, if they want to get back in it, they're going to have to do better in the middle of the park and not get caught in the ball.
Almost 54 minutes played as Edu controls in his chest, wearing the yellow boots, and passes into space for Kolos Bocanegra, the US captain. Right up against the touchline. Oh, that's a lovely manoeuvre to get himself into a crossing position. Looks for Donovan in the penalty area. It's headed away. Bradley for the US edges it towards Chirundo. It was a weak pass, unfortunately, for the US. It comes back to Bradley, and he can hold on to possession with demerit, the Watford man.
Yeah, I can see Bradley being the one. There's a goal scorer, I think, coming in. Bradley seems to be arriving late from the box, and as I said, he's got a habit of scoring goals, so I can see it coming from there. Dempsey's now up front, landing just off the side with Altidore. They certainly look much more positive, the US, and trying to get a goal, but it does leave them a little bit open for the counter-attack.
So Michael Bradley, our tip to score the goal for the US. I have to say, David Moyes' predictions this week have been good. Before the Premier League fixture list was produced, you reckoned you were going to get a team on the first day that either began with A or B, and you got Blackburn. So I did look at, there are an awful lot of clubs who've got B in the Premier League. I did look at that afterwards.
And I'm actually tipping Wayne Rooney for a hat-trick tonight, so there you are. So if I get it wrong, then I've said it on here.
We have the record, and if you do score it, I'm sure we'll play this clip again tomorrow. Slovenia have the lead here in Johannesburg by 2-1 against a USA side who are rejuvenated in this second half, playing much better football. They seem to have settled down a lot. Ball is out of play on the far side. It's a throw-in for Slovenia. And remember, if they win this game, Slovenia, they will be through from England's group. There'll be just one place left for England, Algeria and the USA to battle out between themselves for.
Break to Donovan. Donovan gave it away, and before we know it, they were on the attack, Slovenia.
Corrin in midfield to Kirum on the left wing, onto his right boot, and it's a poor cross over everyone. And in fact, it's not even going to go for a goal kick, it's going to go for a throw-in right down by the corner flag. Slovenia 2, USA 1. This is 5 Live from the BBC. Earlier on today, what about this first scoreline? Germany 0, Serbia 1. Of all the teams in their first game at this World Cup, Germany probably impressed the most, and now they've gone and lost their second game. They finished with 10 men, and Lukas Podolski also missed a penalty in that game. The goal scorer, whose name escapes at the moment, but he's the chap who Liverpool have signed for next season. Now the man who scored the goal for Serbia. Jovanovic, there you go. That must be strange for him with Rafa Benitez having left the job, because presumably Benitez would have been the man who sanctioned his signing, and now it'll be someone else in charge when he does arrive. But well, he's made a name for himself here in South Africa, as it remains 2-1 to Slovenia here in Johannesburg on 5 Live. And don't forget, all the build-up to England's game against Algeria tonight starts at 6:15 right here, and the game itself kicks off at 7:30. Edu has possession outside the US penalty area, gives it to the near side to Cherundolo over the halfway line to Landon Donovan. The US just holding on to the ball. Jay Demerit, he's one of the US players on a yellow card. Finlay has already picked up a second booking for the tournament. Onuewu, that's a good ball, and Altidore is in around the back of the defenders. It's very good recovery, you have to say, by Schuler to get back around ball side of Altidore and prevent the Villarreal man from having a shot.
Oh, Altidore should have ran away and finished it. His touch, he tried to get back onto his right foot too soon. He had rolled the defender, he was away, he was in on goal and chose to come back onto his right foot. It was a real bad decision.
It's another chance that the US have created here. They've been much better in this second half.
They have. They just dropped the tempo a little bit there, and I was beginning to think, oh, here we go, they're not going to go for it again, but they had a chance there. Ball into Altidore's feet, he rolled the defender brilliantly well, but chose to come back instead of going in and go.
Good noise around the stadium. Behind the goal that the US are attacking, there must be several thousand school kids who have come in their school uniforms. They're jumping up and down. Vuvuzelas right the way around the stadium. The American contingent immediately to our right, cheering on Landon Donovan as his free kick is floated in. Dempsey was onside, but there's a push in the area, and that's going to be a free kick to Slovenia.
Yeah, didn't look it from here, but the referee seems to have spotted an awful lot of things today. The player's rolling about, holding his face, so It'll be interesting to see if this did actually happen.
The boos from the American fans, the school kids behind the goal are continuing with their dance routine, but it is going to be a free kick to Slovenia, who still lead here by 2-1. We've seen a replay. I mean, it's the kind of tussle you see week in, week out in the Premier League, but well, it almost looked like the Slovenian player falls on top of Dempsey at the end, but maybe there was more to it.
It was like the American football players contesting each other, wasn't it? Trying not to let the quarterback throw it in.
Yeah. There's a free kick here to Handanovic. Seeing as it is the US, we also do a bit of US-style commentary. We were chatting with Arlo White, who commentates in the US these days before the game, and he said that for free kicks, they give in a little sponsors mention. So this free kick sponsored by BBC Radio 5 Live at all the games of the World Cup, and Handanovic takes it up over the halfway line, bounces once, maybe, and Novakovic will try to get onto it on the edge of the penalty area, and Cherundolo did well to hustle the ball out for a throw-in down by the corner flag.
Yeah, they didn't deal with that kick up the park very well at all, US. They let it bounce, and now it's given Slovenia an opportunity in the final third.
Apparently manufacturers of watches sponsor when it's overtime. The throw-in on the left-hand side. Jokic has come forward. Within 10 yards of the corner flag, throws it very close to Landon Donovan, who almost intercepts, comes back to Jokic. Here comes the cross into the penalty area. No Slovenian player there, and it's cleared away towards Brečko, the right fullback, who's 15 yards inside the US half. They play it down towards Radosjolovic by the corner flag on the right-hand side. His early attempted cross may have struck the arm of Morris Edu there. I don't think the referee would have noticed that, but the linesman was right beside it, and from what looked to be a pretty harmless position, suddenly Slovenia have got a dangerous free kick.
Yeah, good position. He got an opportunity, and Burst has got great delivery. His goal he scored, he's taken all the set pieces, and I've got to say this, it's a real threat, his delivery, and 5-6 yards off the byline, so if he can miss the first defender and put it in a dangerous area, Tim Howard will need to deal with it.
It's from a very tight angle, but two men in a wall. Birsa, who scored the first goal, swings it in, and Howard punches well out of the penalty area. Good goalkeeping, and back with Brečko close to the halfway line. The US very quick to chase this ball up. They're beginning to run out of time here. We've played over an hour in Johannesburg, and the US still trail by 2-1, and they've got defending to do here. A throw into Slovenia down the left-hand side. You know, Slovenia, they played that friendly against England at Wembley in September. Since then, they have won 7 of their last 8 matches. They're a team that look very well oiled. This is Corrin, 10 yards outside the penalty area, floated into the penalty area, but Tim Howard will allow that go out. Just want to use that description. That was probably more like the Irish team in Italia 90, very well oiled, but you know what I meant. Well oiled like a machine.
Yeah, Tim Howard's trying to get the ball in early and get the game underway, because the US are going to need every minute they can here to get back in this game. But while they're only a goal down, you can get a goal at any moment, and they've just got to make sure that they don't concede another one.
They've got the players, the US, Clint Dempsey, he's had that fine season with Fulham. He's scored important goals at important moments. Obviously Landon Donovan. David has tipped Michael Bradley to score if the US do find the net. But Slovenia seem to recover from conceding that goal and absorbing a lot of pressure. Slovenia now are beginning to dominate possession a little bit more.
And they're beginning to take the sting out the game, slow it down. They're walking to take the throw-ins. They're 1 or 2 going down, holding their faces, we saw a minute or 2 ago. So they're just trying to take the sting and take the heat out the US, who are trying to crank up the pressure a little bit and not being able to do so. There's the referee giving the wrong decision for me.
Yeah, Altidore goes down, and again it's a tussle with Marcus Schular, and the referee gives the decision against the man who was at Hull City last season, Josie Altidore. He's a big man, Altidore. Just wonder if he quite uses his weight and his size as much as he could, as Jokic comes away down the left-hand side, plays a 1-2 with Ljubijankic, and now it's a crossing position. Howard has decided to come. He knew what he was doing, and Tim Howard makes the save, and then all in one motion pumps an enormous clearance down the field. It's going to bounce all the way through to the opposition goalkeeper, Handanovic.
I see Bob Bradley telling him to settle down and take it. I actually thought Tim was doing right. He was trying to set the attack quickly, get a bit of speed into the US, and because, as we say, this could run away from them if they don't try and keep the game up, keep the press up.
Very sporting family, the Bradleys. The coach is the father. His son Michael is playing in midfield, and Bob Bradley's brother used to play Major League Baseball with the New York Yankees and a few other teams as well. This is Dempsey for the US. trailing still by 2-1. Here's their goal scorer, Landon Donovan, halfway line on the right-hand side. Jokic stretches out a leg and makes an interception, and the US are back inside their own half. And
they're just too slow. They had a chance there, and the full-back's gone and played back to the centre half and back again, and they were better in the opening moments when they played forward and tried to get into them. Good position now for them.
Cherundolo up towards Altidore. He's just outside the penalty area on the right-hand side. Short pass into midfield to Feilhaber. He might have a chance of a shot here if he fancies it on his left boot. He never looked comfortable there. It was like he was looking for a pass, and when none was available, he just went for the shot anyway. But it's off target, and it remains Slovenia 2, USA 1.
Wrong decision for me again. Good position. They've got the team in a good position. He's got a pass on wide where they could deliver in a nice cross for a crossing position, and chooses not to take it.
Has scored twice for the USA before, Benny Feilhaber, but never looked confident. He looked like a player who doesn't like to shoot with his left foot, as he let fly with that one. And it remains 2-2 Slovenia, who've got possession inside the US half. And it's played by Ljubijancic, back to the halfway line, up to the striker again, and he's edged it in field, and this is Kierm, who gives a ball into the area, and Oniyewu is well positioned. For a man who hasn't played a club game since October, Oniyewu's done very well, both here and in the England game at the weekend. Here comes Biric on the right-hand side, gives in an early ball, Birsa I should say, and it bounces across in front of Tim Howard's goalmouth, and out for a throw-in for the US in their right full-back position.
They look like they can concede a goal, the US. What I've seen at the moment, it wouldn't surprise me. They look ragged. They don't look as if they're dealing with things very well at the back. So, if Slovenia want, there may be another goal in it for them.
Flicked on by Landon Donovan, but the US are struggling to get the ball out of their own half. Jokic, it was a really long clearance more than anything else, and it runs all the way through to Tim Howard, his 53rd cap for the US. This evening. Of course, they always have a lot of competition for the goalkeeping jersey, and many fine goalkeepers down through the years. Long clearance will bounce inside the Slovenian half, and Brečko just allows it go out of play because he knows it will be a Slovenian throw. Less than 25 minutes remaining here in Ellis Park as the sun begins to set here in the afternoon, and that light aircraft continues to buzz overhead, and the vuvuzelas continue to wail around this stadium. But I'm sure there are plenty of fingernails being bitten by US supporters. Defeat here will make progression to the second round very, very difficult. Don't forget, coming up later on this evening, England against Algeria, 7:30 kickoff right here on 5 Live. The rumours emanating from the camp is that David James will replace Robert Green in goal, and as soon as there's confirmation of that, you'll hear about it on 5 Live. Altidore for the US, 10 yards inside the Slovenian half. Bradley comes and takes the ball off the front man, and he's making a charge towards the touchline just down below us. Back to Cherundolo, and then the US have to turn and go back into their own half, and Slovenia's pressure really telling here. Morris Edu in danger of giving away the ball in the centre circle. Oniyewu will clear aimlessly down the left flank, and the US look rattled.
I think I'd be on the touchline now doing my nut in the last minute. What they had done there, they had a chance. If they get into Altidore and they get up to Dempsey and Donovan and Bradley supporting, but the minute they go back the way and Edu's been caught in the ball and then nearly gave it away at the back again, they're a bigger threat if they get it forward. When they play so slow then and go backwards, they don't look too good at all.
Well, from an England point of view, the ideal result in this game would be for it to be a draw. For that to happen, the USA need to score, and talking you through to full time is Alistair Bruce Ball.
Do you know, I was just thinking about that though, in terms of ideal result. Were Slovenia to win this game, they are already qualified, could possibly take their foot off the pedal a little bit in the last game against England. Of course, you may want to win the group, although we don't know in terms of Group D. Winners and runners-up of this group would meet winners, runners-up of Group D, as Slovenia come forward again in this second half, all in white, trying to find Kierm on the left-hand side, but the USA have robbed him. Come back to the point in a second. Slovenia leading the USA by 2-1. Donovan trying to play in Altidore. Altidore brought down on the edge of the penalty area, just outside the box. Schuler, well, I think we'll definitely get a yellow card for that at least, and the USA will get a free kick in a good position just outside the penalty area. I think the USA, David, are trying to argue their last man Altidore was through. He was running away from goal a little bit, though.
It was. It could have been, but he nearly runs down the back of his legs. I don't think it's intentional what he tried to do, but nevertheless, I saw him as being the last defender, and I've got to say, I wasn't quite sure what this referee might do, because I've not been sure all game what he's going to do.
Schuler gets the yellow card. Our referee is from Mali. He's the chap I was saying before the game who was out there with his little camcorder and filming the stadium and sort of soaking it all up like a tourist. He's been a little erratic in the game, Koman Koulibaly, but the USA may not complain so much if they can whack this free kick into the back of the net. Clint Dempsey is standing just ahead of the ball on the white line of the 18-yard box. Landon Donovan just tucking his socks up to his knees, rearranging his shin pads. Big moment for the USA here.
Yeah. The position is made more for a left footer, just off centre, and it's Landon and Dempsey over it, who are both right-footed players. So it'll be interesting to see whether they're going to try and work something, or whether they're going to... It might be that Landon just comes up and hits it as hard as he can in the hope that it ricochets through.
Here comes Donovan taking a long run, going to smash it low in towards the far post. Ball spins off into the penalty area. On the turn, shot straight at the keeper. It was very well hit by Altidore. Handanovic was in the right place, almost knocked him off his feet with the power. He makes the save, and Slovenia will remain 2-1 ahead. Just going back to the point I was making, David, in terms of if Slovenia win this game, bit less to play for. No one knows who's going to come top or second in the Germany, Ghana, Australia, Serbia group. Does that play any part, do you think, in terms of England being bothered about this result?
Well, I think England will be saying, we're good enough to go through the group, we're good enough to win the next 2 games, it doesn't really matter what we do. And I think, the first game England were warming up, I would expect England to beat Slovenia, what I've seen here, and I've got no doubt they'll beat Algeria tonight. I'd be really surprised if they don't.
Slovenia are inside the USA penalty area. Ljubijankic chipping one to the far post, and Novakovic's strike partner had run into the near post, so it drifts out of play behind for a goal kick. The afternoon sunshine has completely disappeared. We've got a sort of burning ember type of sky. The sun has just dipped sort of below the horizon, so there's a lovely sort of dark red glow to the place. The sky going ever darker, the temperatures have dropped. It really is an atmospheric stadium, Ellis Park, here in Johannesburg. I stupidly started my stopwatch 5 minutes late in the second half, so I don't know what your maths is like, David, but my stopwatch says 20 minutes gone. That's actually 25 minutes gone, so we've got 20 minutes just less for the USA to get back into this game.
Yeah, Slovenia now just beginning, you're not pressing the ball as much, hoping to probably hang on to what they've got without doing any more, and maybe catch them on the counter, which they may well do. But again, Edu just gave the ball away in a poor position.
Everton boss David Moyes with us on BBC Radio 5 Live. Chirundalo, the right back, has been caught, so there's another yellow card is going to come out, and it's for the left winger Kiem. So Slovenia have now picked up 3 yellow cards in this game. Robbie Findlay will miss the last game of the group for the USA. He was taken off at half-time, which is a shame, because I wanted to talk a little bit more about him. Plays for Real Salt Lake. I was just thinking, if you were somebody who played for Real Salt Lake, I would just say I play for Real and then probably leave it out there and people can presume.
Well, we've played there a couple of times, and I've got to say it's a great place and very nice.
Free kick for the US into the edge of the box, hooked over the top there by Donovan. Was it Donovan with the strike? No, it's Feilhaber on the edge of the penalty area. Couldn't get any power behind the shot, so Handanovic will make the easy save. 18 minutes to play. I think we are less than 3 hours away from 7:30 your time, which means England back in action in World Cup Group C on BBC Radio 5 Live tonight, playing Algeria in Cape Town. Our build-up will start from 6:15. I'm sure everyone at the moment, if they're not already back home from the office, are on their way back listening to us. You'll have the food prepared, the drink prepared, you'll be biting the nails, getting the armchair in the right place. David Moyes, I think, confident that England can do the business tonight. We're hearing David James may be in goal, Jermaine Defoe may play up front. Going to be a big, big night, and we'll bring it to you all here on Radio 5 Live. In fact, David Moyes so confident, actually predicting a hat-trick for his former star pupil, Wayne Rooney. Substitute for Slovenia. Their change. It's the number 7 that's gone up on the board. This is Nej Pečnik, who scored the crucial away goal in Moscow in the first leg playoff against Russia. So he will come on and replace Ljubijankic, the guy who scored the second goal just before half-time. You can see as well, can't you, David? I know every team does this when they're ahead, and Probably when you're a manager of the team doing it, you don't mind so much, and when you're behind. But Slovenia are eating up every possible second, aren't they?
They are. We've got a long throw coming up here. The centre-half, Uch, has gone to take a long throw here, so it's interesting to see they're trying to get the ball in the box, and they've certainly looked better when they've done so, the US.
Ball dropping down in the penalty area to the 6-yard, but pinging around. Bradley almost got his studs to it. And the referee, I think, actually has given a free kick and is saying that wouldn't have counted because Altidore was doing a bit of pushing and shoving in the penalty. He's been erratic, I think, our referee tonight, hasn't he, David? Some strange ones.
I don't see what Altidore has done wrong. In fact, there's absolutely nothing. I think the referee's seen like that. That was very close to being a goal. But the US, when they've been a little bit more direct, got the ball up to Altidore and to Dempsey, have looked a bigger threat than they have when they've tried to pass it through the middle of the park. So get it up to the two boys up front. They're out muscling the two centre-halves just now, and with the time running out, that's what they'll need to do.
Landon Donovan has been caught by the left-back Jokic, and he seems to be in some trouble as well. Donovan stayed down and tumbled across the turf. So again, the referee, Mr. Koulibaly, comes over and produces the yellow card. The other thing I'd say about his performance tonight a little bit, David, has been he's gone a little bit on reaction. He didn't seem as though he was immediately going to pull out the yellow there, and then suddenly the US players are around him, and then he goes for it, and he's almost being dictated to him. Yeah,
I don't think he's been completely in control, but to be fair to the players, they've tried to get on with it, but from the first minute there was a clash of heads.
Yeah, long ball into the penalty area here, dangerously bouncing down. Dempsey's trying to volley it away on the turn. Slovenia will come clear. It's Radosavljevic who played the ball away from outside his own box, and they're looking to hit the US on the break, but good challenge in the end at the back by Edu, one of the half-time substitutes. So the ball will go out for a Slovenia throw. I could see Clint Dempsey there immediately turning to the referee and saying, come on, you've got to make them get on with this. Don't let them waste any time. 15 minutes to go. As it stands, Slovenia lead the USA by 2-1. What that means is Slovenia would be the first team at this World Cup to be into the last 16. It would leave England with just one qualification spot to play for in the group, but England would know if they beat Algeria and beat Slovenia in the last game, they would finish top of the group and play runners-up in Group D. And we've got to remember to look at it from the USA point of view as well. Desperate for a goal here. If they lose today, they'll just be on 1 point, and qualification then from the group would be extremely, extremely difficult. They've got some problems here inside their own half. Edu eventually coming away with the ball was fouled. The referee was looking to play advantage. He then didn't do so. The USA have a free kick, but they're running out of time. Yeah, they're not playing quick enough, and the referee could have let that go. It was a free kick, went to the US. They could have played on and kept it going, but didn't do so. So they're going to have to just keep the tempo up, US, but in the same strength, they must watch that they don't lose a third goal on the counter-attack. Here's Bradley. Into the feet of Landon Donovan. Couple of touches from him, takes him away from the first defender, but then the right back Brechko, who made such a crucial goal line clearance in the first half when Slovenia were leading 1-0 and Donovan was right behind him. They got the ball back for Slovenia, rather lazily given away there. Donovan now picks it up. The Slovenian player goes down, wants a free kick, he's not going to get it, and Donovan has some space to work with here. Dempsey makes a little dart forward. Donovan decides not to use him. Then the USA work it from the right to the left, and here's the big hulking figure. Altidore's going to strike one, slices it across the face of goal and behind for a goal kick. World Cup Willie again, too far out, too wide, and if you're going to score from there, it was going to take some goal. You had a chance to deliver a ball in the box and takes the wrong decision. David Moyes feeling at home at Ellis Park. I was at Soccer City, was it yesterday Argentina played? They all blow into one these days, but Argentina, in terms of flags, outdo everyone by a mile. They absolutely covered the place in blue and white. There are a lot of US flags here, but they're being more held than they are draped across balconies. And I've got to say, the two that are catching my eyes, and one of the Scotland one has just disappeared, but there's two massive Scottish saltires directly opposite us here, and they're the ones that keep catching my eye inside Ellis Park tonight. Cross into the US penalty area is hacked away by Demerit. Good work from Donovan, came back to help his team, nicked it off the left back Jokic. Bradley's going to go for a big long diagonal pass over the top. Brechko heads it away, but here come the USA in their dark blue shirts with the white sash diagonally across the front, driving forward from midfield. Feilhaber trying to slide one through to Dempsey. Well blocked on the edge of the penalty area by Slovenia. I think we are going to get a very, very open last 10 minutes or so. US pushing hard for the goal, Slovenia trying to soak it up, but then obviously the chance to hit them on the break, David. Yes, Slovenia just over 10 minutes away from qualifying at the moment, and the US just needing to try and get a wee bit more of the ball, but
There could still be a goal in this. It could go either way at the moment. You know, the next goal, there could be a goal at either end.
Slovenia leading USA by 2-1. As it stands, Slovenia heading into the last 16. The floodlights, which are lined up on the roof of the stand opposite us, shining ever so brightly in the night sky now as the US have possession just crossing the halfway line on the right-hand side. It's the right-back, Chirundolo. They're getting ready to make another change, the US, and they're going to bring on Herculez Gomez, the number 9, who'll only be winning his 5th cap. Plays his football for Puebla in Mexico. Now, I'm not sure too many people back home or even out here will know too much about him, but it's something they've got to do. They've got to try and find themselves a goal from somewhere. And since getting back into the game, David, right at the start of the second half, haven't really gone on as much as you'd like in terms of keeping the pressure on Slovenia.
No, I thought when they came out at the start of the second half, oh, this is great, we're now going to see a real high tempo, and they're getting away with it at times. You know, they're not using the ball particularly well from the back, but when they've got it up to the boys up front, I think they've caused them some problems. But you know, Uch at the back, and Edu's been caught in the ball a couple of times.
Edu's gone for a long ball forward here towards Altidore. Altidore's desperately trying to keep this in, goes shoulder to shoulder with Schuler, 2 big men there. Altidore then, sort of like the clever pro, picked the ball up, went running over to the corner flag to try and bluff the referee, but the goal kick was given. So Gomez comes on, and it is striker for centre-back. So Onyewu comes off. Aguchi Onyewu plays his football for AC Milan, but has played so little football this year because of a knee injury back in October. He's got this huge dark beard strapped to his chin. So he's off. Gomez comes on. And now the US have Altidore up there, Dempsey up there, Donovan. Gomez is out there straight away, bawling the instructions to all the other players. And it looks like Dempsey's going to play just a little bit off now, David.
Yeah, and I think they're going to play without a right back, and they probably ask Landon Donovan to do the whole side himself, which he is capable of. So they've gone for it, and good on him. You know, the manager knows he needs to get a goal now. They've got a lot of attacking players on, and they're in their half at the moment.
10 minutes to play. USA trailing by 2-1. Bradley with the curler from the edge of the box. Handanovic gets down and falls gratefully on the ball, and actually in the end it was a fairly comfortable save.
It was, but they're going to need to get more attempts like that in the last 10 minutes if they're going to get anything out of the game.
England against Algeria kicks off at 7:30 this evening. Full commentary here on Radio 5 Live. All the World Cup games from the ground on your World Cup station. Alan Green, Mike Ingham with the commentary this evening. Alan will then be taking your calls after the game on a World Cup 6:06, taking your calls through until 11:30 tonight. And as it stands at the moment, Slovenia will be moving ahead of England into the last 16 before them winning both their 2 games. Not down here. Bradley with the poke into the top of the net, and the USA have their equaliser. They come right back into this group. Look at the celebration. Bradley dashing over to the corner flag, slides down on his back, and there is a huge pile-on from the USA players. Bradley is right under a heap of about 15 or 20 bodies. The coach's son has done it for his dad. They were 2-0 down, the USA, and they are back to 2-2. Slovenia 2, USA 2.
Diagonal ball from Landon Donovan up to Altidore, knocked down. And as I said earlier on, Bradley's great at getting in the box. He was a really good goal scorer, and he's shown it again, and he's certainly helped his dad out, taking him out of spot.
You're doing yourself down a little bit there, David, because you actually said earlier in the half that we're having a few problems with the microphone here. Microphone, I think, just coming back on at the moment. Sorry if you lost us for a second. Just having a few problems with our microphone here. You can hear the raucous atmosphere in the background. All of a sudden, Ellis Park has just turned into a moving mass of the Star-Spangled Banner. The US fans absolutely jubilant. And I was just trying to say to David Moyes there before the microphone turned itself off, he was doing himself a little bit of a disservice, because you didn't only say, David Moyes, that Michael Bradley was good at scoring goals. You said if the USA were going to get another goal, it would be Michael Bradley. I think we might have to give you a little bit of a pay rise.
Thanks very much. I hope that the one that I predicted for tonight's right as well. So
yes,
there you go.
That's the Wayne Rooney hat-trick, in case you weren't listening earlier. Well. Slovenia 2, USA 2. USA turning it around in this second half. Landon Donovan scoring just after half-time driving in from a tight angle into the roof of the net, and Michael Bradley with a sort of Lampard-esque, Gerrard-esque sort of run into the box, sliding in, Cahill-esque as well possibly if we're going to head the Everton way, sliding in, got his foot on it and straight into the roof of the net. Now then, what has Slovenia got in response? Not much from Pečnik there. He's knocked it straight behind for a goal kick and brings USA back into the group. Maybe suits England as well, actually, David, in terms of a draw.
Possibly. I mean, we have to give the coach credit. He makes a chance, takes a bit of a risk, takes the defender off. Now he's put Morris Adu back into the back. They're going back to a back four, because in a way, when you're 2-0 down, you get back to 2-8, you're just so thrilled that you're not going to lose the game. So there could be a goal in this, there could be a winner yet, and it's now swung in the favour of the US.
6 minutes to play on 5 Live. World Cup action from Johannesburg at Ellis Park. Slovenia 2, USA 2. USA here last summer in the final of the Confederations Cup with 2-0 up against Brazil and lost 3-2. What about today? 2-0 down. Could they turn it round and win 3-2? Altidore trying to bulldoze his way past the left back Jokic. Jokic just blocked him off, and USA get the free kick, and well, you wouldn't bet against it, right in the corner of the box.
Good position. Again, the only thing I'd say, the US now haven't got a left-footed delivery, or a deliverer I should say. Landon's on it again. They've looked a real threat, and good position right in the corner of the box, chance to put the ball in.
Been a cracking game at Ellis Park. Slovenia 2, they led 2-0, but now they've been pegged back to 2-2. Slovenia 2, USA 2. Donovan gets ready to swing the free kick in from the right-hand side. There it is, drops down. Oh, they've scored again. No, it's not going to count. The referee has given a free kick for an offence inside the penalty area. He has done that on a couple of occasions, and the USA substitutes and management team have to get themselves off the pitch very quickly, because they were about to charge on and celebrate a third goal. It was rifled into the roof of the net by Edu, and again, I've got to say, watching the replay, David, did you see what the referee gave that for?
Well, somebody definitely falls over, but I'll tell you what, the referee a few times tonight, we're really surprised at some of the decisions.
Well. Into the last 5 minutes of the 90. Slovenia 2, USA 2. I wasn't expecting quite this game here at Ellis Park this afternoon. Just felt a little bit flat when we arrived. Hasn't been full. Was that a shove there on the USA number 9 goal?
That was a free kick.
I was going to say, the line, and it was right in front of the linesman, and he didn't give it. The ball's gone behind for a Slovenia goal kick. Well, I'm just watching the replay there as Edu volleys in. I mean, everyone, as ever, as the ball comes into the box, is kind of doing the classic take your partner by the hand and hugging each other.
If anything, it's a penalty kick. The boy grabs Bokanegger round the neck, round the chest, and if he doesn't give it, it's a goal. It's, again, a really poor decision, and I don't think the manager will be happy when he sees that after the game.
Plenty to talk about after this game, and exactly as David Moyes says, I think Bob Bradley, who his lad Michael Bradley got the equaliser for the USA, will not be happy, and he doesn't look like someone you'd want to mess with. He's got the shaven head, he's got the piercing stares, a little bit of sort of Steve Ovett about him, I think, in terms of look-alike, but didn't look best pleased, as you'd imagine, when that goal was ruled out. Kim now floats a ball into the USA penalty area. Slovenia 2, USA 2. The right back for Slovenia, Brečko, up to the edge of the box. Ball is played out wide to the right-hand side. Pečnik's going to try and cut it in with his left foot. Headed away by Clint Dempsey. And we have about 3 minutes plus added time to go at Ellis Park. Pečnik again, the Slovenian substitute. His cross in is blocked, and the ball goes out for a Slovenian throw deep in American territory. So, England-Algeria to come. As it stands at the moment, Slovenia would be on 4 points. England would start tonight on 1 point. USA, of course, just ahead of them on 2 points, and Algeria on none. Here is Corrin. I haven't mentioned his name too much in the second half, but here he is again with the bright orange heels to his boots, and the USA have some more defending to do, because Slovenia have the ball on the edge of their penalty area. Pečnik with his right foot, dangerous ball. Novakovic with a header straight at Howard, who makes the save.
They look a little bit loose in central defence, the US. No, the change, they're taking the centre half off, and if they're going to give them chances to cross the ball, I fancy them to get on a header, which they did do there.
2 minutes of the 90 to go. Slovenia 2, USA 2. Tim Howard hit an absolute monster ball downfield. Altidore tried to chest it down on the edge of the box. He couldn't bring it down. If he'd managed to, could have turned it into a shooting opportunity. The ball is then rather loosely given away in midfield by Feilhaber. Desperate sliding challenge from him to win it back. I think Corrin has run it out of play. He has, under pressure from Donovan. And so the USA will get a throw, and Cherundolo will take it and launch it infield. Both teams, and I'd say the USA a little bit more so, going for the win.
Yeah, a massive kick with Tim Howard, landed just about in the box. Altidore got a hold of it, but just not enough, or he was in and goal again.
Well, now then, here comes Slovenia on the break. What can they do? It's Dedic, the substitute, slides the pass out wide to Kim. Slovenia have 2 white shirts in the penalty area. Kim back in field. The pass goes by Radosavljevic. He gets it back from Brechko. He's going to hit a shot here. Radosavljevic drives one. Howard palms it away with both hands. Comes out absolutely bawling at his defenders, and the ball goes out for a throw into Slovenia on the right-hand side.
Quite rightly so. No pressure on the ball, letting the boy get a chance to shoot. And with these balls, a lot of them being over the bar, but that one was on target.
Into the last minute of the 90. Will we get similar drama to match tonight? England against Algeria kicks off at 7:30. Our coverage starts on 5 Live at 6:15. Slovenia want a corner. They're only going to get a throw, but it is right down by the corner flag. A couple of little birds that look like swallows have just come swooping into the stadium, flitting about just to catch the injury time action at Ellis Park. Slovenia 2, USA 2. Brechko, the right back, down by the corner flag on the right-hand side, trying to get the cross in. It's blocked by Dempsey, comes off his shins, and then Dempsey very cynically just tosses the ball away over the advertising hoardings just to slow Slovenia down. Doesn't get punished for that. Corrin with a little ball into the penalty. Nick over the top, trying to find Dedic. USA clearing away, and an offence inside the penalty area. And so the USA will get themselves a free kick. Been a really, really good game of football, David. I'm right in saying, Arno, this is your last game with us here on 5 Live at the World Cup, but this has been a belter.
It's been really good. I've enjoyed it, and I've had a chance to see the goal, which the US didn't get. And I think there's a couple of penalty kicks in it for the US. And for them not to get a goal or a penalty from it is a terrible decision.
Just to stress that, Landon Donovan curling a free kick into the penalty area, volleyed in by Morris Edu from about 3 yards out. The referee gave a free kick against the USA. Here's Gomez, flags up, won't count, drives it over the bar. Gave a free kick, we think, for sort of pushing, shoving, shirt tugging, but as David Moyes says, the only real offences in there were from the Slovenian defenders, not the USA strikers. And the USA definitely have cause for complaint. Plenty more of these birds have obviously been told by their mates to come flying in and watch the game. It's good stuff. It's Slovenia 2, USA 2. 3 minutes of added time, and we've had about 45 seconds of it. Jokic, the left-back, screams at himself in frustration. Tried to pass one down the left-hand touchline. Tired legs. Didn't get the pass right. The ball has gone out for a USA throw. As a neutral, David, I'd love to see a winner either way.
It's been a good game, and they've both had a bit of a go. And they're both teams who probably won't do an awful lot more in the tournament, but if one of them qualify, but nevertheless they're both giving it a real good go tonight.
Could be a final chance for Slovenia. Pechnik's going to have to work very, very hard in his yellow boots to catch that one down the left-hand side. He can't. The run is covered by Demerit. By the way, when the USA second goal went in, our TV cameras cut to a couple of US fans who were in tears here at the second goal. I mean, the emotion was that immediate for them. Just this big, hunky guy, big, powerful build, just floods and floods of tears. Slovenia 2, USA 2, and we have about a minute or so and 20 seconds to play, and just a little break was developing for the US there, but it didn't come off. So Schuler, the centre-back for Slovenia, good little flick on there to the edge of the box. Dedic tries to get on the end of it, and very quickly Bocanegra is across and hacks it away. Throw in to Slovenia. We have 1 minute of added time to play. Slovenia 2, USA 2. Are we going to get a dramatic winner for either team in this game between the smallest country population-wise at the World Cup and the largest? And here come the largest, Dempsey. I think he fell over the ball there in the centre circle. He's gone down and taken a whack in the face. Game is not going to stop. Feilhaber blocks the ball in. Now Brechko says he wants it stopped, having given the ball away, and it gets knocked out for a throw-in on the far side.
I think he stood in the ball. Yeah. And when he stood in the ball, I don't know if he landed in his face or whatever, but they had a break on, and he falls awkwardly.
So, just to remind you of the group situation, if this finishes 2-2, and we are just going to have a little bit of added time at the end here because Clint Dempsey has picked himself up, but one of the Slovenian players has gone down in the centre circle, so there's going to be a slight delay here. We've probably got about 30 seconds or so to go. Slovenia will be on 4 points, USA will be on 2 points, England will have 1 point, and Algeria none. If England beat Algeria tonight, obviously they would go up to 4 points, face Slovenia in the last game.
And I think US will be saying we've got a point out of this Algeria in the last game in the group. They'll be saying if we can win that, we have a real good chance of qualifying.
And it's a hammer blow to the Slovenians as well, isn't it, David? 2-0 up, going really, really well.
Yeah, it's demoralising, but at half-time, 2-0 is a difficult score for when you're in front, because you know that if the opposition get the goal, they lift it, they're the team who go on the attack, and it's really gone that way, and that's why that goal, the next goal after half-time, was going to be vital for whatever side got it.
So it's Pechnik who went down in the centre circle. He is being taken off. I mean, we really are right in the closing stages of this game. Komac will come on. USA have come back from 2 goals down dramatically in this second half. Play is underway, but I cannot believe we're going to have very, very long left. And that's a loose ball from the US across their own half and out for a throw. I wonder if that will cost them or not. Will there be enough time for Slovenia to launch any sort of attack? Referee looks at his watch, blows his full-time whistle, and the USA here at Ellis Park have come back from 2 goals down in this second half to draw 2-2, but their players are absolutely furious. They are surrounding the referee, and I think, David Moyes, that will have something to do with the goal that was disallowed from Maurice Edu, Donovan's free kick that was curled into the box. Edu volleyed it into the net for what would have been the winner. The referee spotted some sort of foul in the box, and it was a very bad decision.
Terrible decision, and I'm just wondering as well, the game was stopped here, and I think the US were looking for a little bit more time as well, but it was a bad decision, and the referee, I thought, was out his depth tonight in the decisions he made.
Well, plenty of drama and controversy here at Ellis Park, just as there was in the first World Cup game of the day. Germany losing to Serbia by 1-0. I think England fans will probably be pretty pleased with this result here this evening. Slovenia were 2-0 up at half-time. USA have pulled it back in the second half with goals from Landon Donovan and Michael Bradley, the coach's son, to make it 2-2. Just to repeat, Slovenia 4 points, USA 2 points, and ahead of England, Algeria tonight. England on 1, Algeria on none. Obviously, after the game tonight, Mark, we will find our way very, very quickly to somewhere we can watch the England game. More drama to come, we hope. But that's been good fun. Final score is Slovenia 2, the USA 2.